Yo, what is up, guys? It is 2KJ here with another week of football. So this week, I'm just gonna go over the highlights. I got a couple of topics, gonna break them down. Last 2 weeks been pretty hectic, but this week has been, compared to those 2 weeks, a little bit chiller, but it still had its highlights, so we'll go over those. The Bengals signed La'el Collins. We talked about that last time. The offensive tackle from the Cowboys. He's very excited to join his new team. I think it's just because he's leaving the Cowboys and he's going to a Super Bowl contender. Team that was in the Super Bowl. They're going to be back here soon. So I think he's just excited to be able to play in the playoffs. Trent Brown, another offensive tackle, signed with the Patriots. That is going to be able to help Mac Jones. Not a big deal, but something that the Patriots can use to give them better protection for Mac Jones. Bigger topics, we got Matt Ryan to the Colts. He was traded for a third round pick. Sorry, it's an 82 overall pick, so nothing too crazy. This came after Deshaun Watson visited with Atlanta and was in talks with them, and because that deal didn't work out, it offended Matt Ryan, and now Matt Ryan is now with the Colts. I don't really know if this really offended Matt Ryan, because I think his time in Atlanta was done anyways, but I think it's a great move for Matt Ryan and the Falcons. The Falcons will eat $62 million in cap this year from that and dead money, so that's not going to help them, but they can start fresh. They're starting to do a rebuild, and hopefully they can get a new quarterback in there soon. I know they had a stint when they signed Josh Rosen. He is still in the league. I don't think he's meant to be a backup his whole career. Atlanta has nothing else to lose unless you're going to draft somebody. Go ahead and give the kid a shot, On with that, Jameis Winston signed to the Saints with a 2-year, $28 million deal. That will come in to play with our next topic, but I think they're regretting the Taysom Hill signing, and they're trying to find their actual quarterback and not just their college quarterback. So this is kind of giving them a prove-it deal with Jameis in hopes that he can take over and be their guy. So on to the Falcons, back at them. They actually signed Marcus Mariota to a 2-year, $18.7 million deal. Now, remember, Jameis Winston and Mariota were both back-to-back 1 and 2 picks. They both haven't played well since their first couple of years in the league, and it just shows how important those first 2 picks are, because we got Jameis Winston doing a 2-year, $28 million, and Mariota doing a 2-year, $18 million. Both of them are basic backups, and it's a $10 million difference just based on that one pick. Because let's face it, both these guys are basically the same. They both are average dual threat. They can both throw and run, and their biggest problems are throwing interceptions and making bad decisions. So they're basically identical if you think about it. The only difference is I believe Mariota can run better than Winston, and I believe Winston can throw a little better, but both of them have poor decision making, and I think that's the main reason both of them are backups. On to the next one, we got Matthew Stafford. He's signing a major deal. That is going to be a big deal as an extension year-wise. That's going to play a big part because that puts him into retirement years in LA, and if they're really trying to push for multiple Super Bowls, he's proven that he can be their guy, and with a new system in Sean McVay's playbook, Matthew Stafford's big arm, it's a great fit. It's kind of unfortunate it had to come this late in his career, but I mean, he's gonna get some wins, so end out on a hurrah, you know. Next, we got Leonard Fournette re-signing with the Bucks. He's going with a 3-year, $21 million deal. This is big because their other back, Ronald Jones, signed with the Chiefs. So Leonard Fournette is looking to take most of the snaps this year at halfback. I think this is cool. I don't know about signing running backs to big deals, but you know, he's Tom Brady's guy. He can catch out of the backfield. He can make those 7-yard third down conversions. He's a big back. Overall, great running back, but I just don't ever like signing running backs to big deals, but you got to sometimes. I think the biggest plus is that he is big. I think that's the biggest advantage. Yeah, he can catch he can catch low wheel routes and such like that, but that's why they have Giovanni Bernard, and Brady will have those vet guys come in to do his little dirty work, but what they really need whenever the pass game is not working is a great run game, and Leonard Fournette brings that to the table. Next, the Cowboys came out and basically just said, fuck Amari Cooper. They were going in more depth about the trade with Amari Cooper, and they said that basically CD is the better option, the better deal in the long run. I get what they're saying, but I disagree. I think Amari Cooper has proven that he can put in the work. He has put in the work, let's be real. And I think Amari Cooper is, right now in their careers, I think Amari Cooper is the better receiver, just because you have a guy who's proven himself in the league, who's proven himself in big moments. Now, while CD is a superstar, what happens when he gets hurt, or what happens when adversity hits him? I don't think CD's gotten punched in the mouth yet, and well, sometimes receivers tend to crash out in this league whenever they get punched in the mouth. So I think Amari Cooper has proven that he can get up when he gets knocked down, and when he gets punched in the mouth, he can handle it like a champ, and he can go out there and perform still. Not saying CD can't do that, but he has not proven that yet. So will it benefit them? Will it not? Now, you have to take into consideration they signed an average quarterback to a very big deal, also re-signed their running back, who is Leonard Fournette's better than Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott's not even top 10, in my opinion. And they re-signed him to a big deal. Now they don't have the money to sign their receiver. So it comes down to your priorities, and they definitely show their priorities are I think they're really scared of getting another Tony Romo situation, or being in a situation where they don't have a quarterback. They're just so frightened by that they have to keep their guy. They're not going to look for anybody else but Dak. And while that's cool, you're going to waste a lot of money, and you're going to make all these other teams pay their quarterbacks even more, because Dak does not perform like other quarterbacks. I'm not saying he's like bad or anything, but he's not worth what he's paid. So whenever you waste all your money doing that, and then you also go and you try to pay your running back what he thinks he deserves, but he doesn't perform like he used to 2-3 years ago, you end up running out of money, and now your receiver, who rightfully deserves that money, you have to go trade him. So yeah, you can take the picks and you can take all those and you can maybe replace him, but in my opinion, I think the Browns are going to have a good combination with Amari Cooper and Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb. I don't think they're done, especially with they got Baker in their back pocket that they can trade out for another couple picks, maybe a pick or two. He was the first overall pick, let's not forget that. So he's got some kind of value to him. And in all honesty, I would probably take Baker over Dak in some instances. I think Dak is a better and a older, more mature leader and quarterback. I think he's not as much as a superstar diva as Baker, but I think Baker has better traits on the football field sometimes better than Dak. Um, and also Baker is, I mean, I don't know. You can say that Dak's leg problem was fluky, but after a season-ending injury, I put that on the tally board. Baker's never had a season-ending injury, so whenever he was called on, he stepped up and performed. In the playoffs, he got him a win. I think he's not the guy to get him over the hump, get him into that Bills, Chiefs, who else is in the AFC? Well, I mean, everybody in the AFC, but the Bills and the Chiefs and the Bengals, I don't think he's in that. The Browns, I don't think, are in that contention just yet because Baker can't do that. Deshaun Watson, no? Maybe. But back to the main topic, CD over Amari Cooper? No, I take Amari Cooper over CD every day just off of experience in the league. I think one-on-one, you're going to get more out of CD, but the league is not a one-on-one situational. It's a whole season NASCAR race. So it's not about getting first place in the first 20 laps. It's about being first after the 400th lap. I just don't think CD can make that 400th lap. And if he does, I don't think he's going to get first. Next, we got Zadarius freaking Smith. I don't know his middle name, so I'm not going to say that, but Zadarius Leonard Smith and Chandler Sullivan, but he's not that much of importance. He signed a 3-year, $42 million deal with the Vikings, making another Smith Bros. Now we got the whole Eskimo Bros up north situation. But, yeah, so he signed with the Vikings. His back is still broken. He can't move. He's older now. We got him in his end of his prime, even if we did get him in any of his prime. I'm surprised he didn't go back to the Ravens and try to scoop a ring. But, well, now you're with the Vikings. And I don't know if it's a personal problem with Green Bay. I don't know if it's just the money. But either way, we're taking it like it's personal. Yeah. How is he going to play on that front four? He's going to be the weakest link on that front four. He's not going to be able to perform as well. They're going to put him in only on third downs, I guarantee. If he's going to do anything, it's going to be probably stop the outside run. But I guarantee you he's not going to get to any quarterbacks. And if he thinks he's going to even touch Aaron Rodgers, well, I think David Bakhtiari has something for him. So, overall, I think he's still, like, okay, but I don't think he's that Pro Bowl guy. I don't even think he made a Pro Bowl with Green Bay while he was snubbed. I'm not gonna lie, he was snubbed. He doesn't deserve $42 million. Come on. He had a great year 2 years ago. Wasted this year being hurt. And he just, man, should have been out there more. He was a great impact on our defense. I give him that. He was a great leader. Give him great leadership skills. But I don't give him football skills. I think the Packers were great in letting him go and keeping Preston Smith. Preston Smith produces more. And we also have Rashawn Gary, who we drafted, not the year we drafted Jordan Love, but the year before. So we have Rashawn Gary. I think that was 2020, yeah. He's stepped up. He played whenever Zadarius Smith was out. He made a big impact, and with that, we were able to make positive moves. Like, he's cheaper. He performs better. He's younger. He's homegrown Green Bay talent. And we drafted him. He's not from Green Bay, I don't think, but in general, I just think it's a better move that we have Rashawn Gary over Zadarius Smith. And besides, what do you got against our quarterback spending his time off from his job being on a podcast. It's better than traveling through Illinois and getting caught by some police with a little weed in your pocket. Yeah, do you think we forgot? Come on, dog. Trying to get our rookie in trouble and shit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, right before the playoffs in 2020, Darius Smith, Rashawn Gary, and some other Packer players were pulled over on the border of Wisconsin and Illinois, and they were on the Wisconsin side, and they had weed in their car, and so Darius Smith had to take the rap for it. I'm just making a joke. I really don't give a shit. But yeah, man, don't hate on my quarterback because we know shit about you. Come on, don't cap. And the little Chandler Sullivan, I saw something on a Packers page that, not a Packers page, it was the NFL page. It was the NFL page that said that Chandler Sullivan was a starter, but he wasn't. We had Kevin King's bum ass out there, J.R. Alexander, but he was hurt most of the time. So if we didn't, we had fucking Rasul Douglas and fucking what's his name? New buddy from Georgia. Exactly. Where is Sullivan? Third down. So I just wanted to make that clear. The NFL page was wrong. Sullivan is not a starter. He's a starter on special teams, but he plays third downs, and he plays when we play 5-man coverage. So I don't know whenever 5 defensive backs are on the field, but according to my calculations, it's only whenever you're playing prevent. And you don't play prevent a lot of the time on defense. So take it how you want it, but he's not a starter. Next, we got Pete Carroll opening up about the Russell Wilson trade. He said they stuck with Russ until it didn't make sense to try anymore. So basically how I take that is they were trying, and just whenever Russ wasn't giving back anything, they said, okay, well, we'll let bygones be bygones, and we'll send you off on your way. And, you know, I think that's respectable. I think as a team, you can only do so much before you got to give up. You know, they had a good tenure. I don't like how they did Bobby Wagner, though. I think that was bogus as hell, but that's a different story. I just think you could have got at least one more year out of him. But then you have to think about, you know, he doesn't sign, he doesn't play, he sits out, then he re-signs with a new team. You don't get any of those picks and stuff. It could have been something, you know. DK is now without a quarterback, and they are in denial that they are in rebuild mode, but they are in rebuild mode. They are just in denial. Next, we got Davante Adams coming out talking about how he's living his dream playing with the Raiders. I guess, you know, he said he was from a little suburb in California, so he's a huge Raiders fan his whole life. He went to, I think it was San Paulo or something. He went to some Fresno State, maybe. It's a college in California, super small. But yeah, I think him playing with his favorite team is going to cost him an All-Pro nod. I just don't believe in Derek Carr unless they throw my man's wide receiver screens, or unless they throw him a slant. And even the slant, Derek Carr can't grip the ball fast enough. He's going to slip it out of his hands and throw it to a D lineman. So Derek Carr is the weak link on that relationship's spectrum. Davante Adams is going to overperform Derek Carr. And this is where I think shit gets fishy, okay? Derek Carr is not about to use Davante Adams to get paid. Derek Carr is not about to spend this season overthrowing Davante Adams, force-feeding my man's, not even my man's, force-feeding that man's just so he can get a paycheck. Think about that. No, I'm not against it. I bet Devontae Adams ain't even against it. But I just think Devontae Adams needed Aaron Rodgers a little bit more than he thought. And I think this season he'll learn that, and maybe he don't care. Maybe he does not care, and I'm cool with that. But I just think his stats will care. I think his contract will care. I think his All-Pro nod and Pro Bowl selections will care. And after he ends this contract, then what? Then what? You know, you played yourself. You played yourself. That's all I gotta say. So cool. You get to play for your hometown team, the team you dream to play for. Maybe, you know, some people like to do that, but it's gonna cost you, man. In my opinion, it's gonna cost you. I would have been totally fine if you went to a quarterback happy team. You go to Denver and play with Jerry Jeudy. You go to Miami instead of Tyreek Hill and play with Tua. But I mean, even Tua's not that good. Let's be real. Tua and Tyreek aren't even gonna have fun. So if you would have went to a quarterback team and had somebody to place the ball perfectly in your hands every time, then maybe I wouldn't be so, I won't even say mad, I'm just disappointed in the result. You could have gone to the Chargers and had Herb chucking that bitch, and he'd been a better option. I don't know. You know, I digress. I just think it's gonna cost him. Up next, we got the Rams working with Aaron Donald and trying to get an extension. I know he's talking about retiring. They want to run it back, all that good stuff. But it sounds like they're gonna try to, you know, set up an extension, get him paid, keep him on the team, as well as they're trying to keep an eye on OBJ. They want to re-sign him. They think that he's going to be the big key on their team. So if they can keep him, then they're going to keep Matthew Stafford happy. They just lost Robbie Woods, so keep him, keep Cooper Kupp, and boom, you got some of the team left. You can possibly run it back, you know. Do I see Aaron Donald re-signing? Of course, you know, I think Aaron Donald's not done. Do I see him signing with the Rams? You know, it's forecasted, I would say. I mean, I don't see him switching up, but I could see it. You know, anybody in this league is now switching up, but I don't see him doing it for the money. I would see him doing it for another ring, if anything, like Von Miller with the Bills. He's really just setting himself up for another ring before he retires himself. Aaron Donald could do that, but I think he's confident in the Rams. I don't think he's really trying to uproot himself for one more year and then call it good. OBJ, on the other hand, I think is a huge wash. I don't know where he's going. Maybe he's going to reunite with friends. Maybe he goes and makes another Super Bowl run. Who knows? I just hope he gets better, because nobody's going to want to re-sign him until he gets better. The next topic we got, the Seahawks want to extend DK Metcalf this offseason. I think this is good, you know, get that talk out of the way. If you want to keep him, he's still young, so you can't really cut him out of the rebuild. I think you're in the sweet spot where you got probably 2 or 3 good more years before you are going to have to give him a good quarterback, or you're going to have to get him on a team where he's going to win a Super Bowl, because he's too good of a talent to just let sit. And we can't have another Randy Moss, guys. Randy Moss did not win a single Super Bowl and went to 1. And he was the best receiver in the league for a decade. Like a whole decade, this man literally could be arguably the best receiver every year, from 98 to 08. Shit, from 98 to 2010. And maybe, you know, he would lose 1 or 2 years, but he's going to have 90% of the votes every time. And that's the same thing with DK. I think DK is the same type of player. I just think this new generation of emotions is getting to him. And if he wants to be that Randy Moss guy, he's got to put his head down and grind. But he's got what it takes to be a Randy Moss. He needs that extra oomph, and one of those extra oomphs is a quarterback. And Russ was there, he's gone, and hopefully Drew Lock does that, but I can see Drew Lock underperforming, DK overdoing it, getting mad at his overperformance and not seeing results. And this being the tension, Juju Smith-Schuster just left the Steelers because they got rid of Ben. Ben's gone, so they don't got a quarterback. Who's going to feed me the ball? Goodbye, Chiefs. I can see the same thing happening with him. Spends a couple years bullshitting with Drew Lock, finds out this is not the move, and finds some talent with a quarterback. I know the Packers have been talking to DK, or the Seahawks, about trading for DK now. I think that would be a great addition. I think Aaron Rodgers would love that, because now you got a deep threat that you don't even have to place the ball perfectly. He can go up and get the ball perfectly. I think he still has some faults in his game, but everybody does. And he's also young, so he can learn a lot. So you get him with a vet quarterback before he gets a little bit older, he can learn from these vet quarterbacks, and then he can do his thing. And I also want to see him paired up with a A.J. Brown or a Michael Thomas, a bigger receiver, somebody that he can learn from. Maybe not even A.J. Brown, because that was his teammate at Ole Miss. I'm talking a vet big guy that can teach him the things that he needs to learn. Because let's be real, Tyler Lockett can only teach him about route running, in all honesty. He's not big, though. He can't go up and get it himself, so how is he going to teach DK how to do that, Those little things are what I pay attention to, and I think DK can find a good vet QB, and a good receiver core, and even a good receivers coach that will improve his game. And with that, extension, I hope they extend him. He deserves the money, but especially because he was drafted late because that broken neck. But I think he should go to a different team in the next two years, just because unless Seattle gets a new quarterback and a new system going, he's not gonna want to wait for a rebuild. Like he's gonna see his peers moving up in these playoffs, and he's gonna get antsy. Real shit. The biggest topic today, we got Tyreek Hill goes to Miami for a first, a second, and a fourth this year, and a fourth and a sixth next year. That first being a 29th overall, so it's basically a second. The Chiefs are getting a lot more than what they invested in Tyreek Hill. So, overall it's a win, because you only paid a late round pick for him. But you also are losing Tyreek Hill. Patrick Mahomes is #1 weapon. You had the cheetah with the rocket arm. That's nothing. There's nothing else to compare. But this really opens up the Chiefs receiver room. This really opens up the Miami playbook. It just, once again, this is like Russ to Denver, but the next week. For all we know, Drew Brees could come out of retirement. That's never gonna happen, but that's the type of shit I'm talking about. Anything's gonna happen. Terrell Owens, yeah, he is still a free agent. He is fighting for his free agency. He technically, by the NFL rule, can be signed to any team, even though he's a Hall of Famer. He is in shape and is still having talks with teams. Real shit. Look it up. Real shit. This is words that he said out of his mouth. As a Hall of Famer, he still can be picked up by any team, and he has conversations with teams still. That's how crazy the NFL is. There are teams out there still talking to Terrell Owens, a man who retired in 2010. So that's never going to happen, but that's how crazy the NFL is. They're still talking to people who played 10 years ago. Colin Kaepernick hasn't played in 5 years. Teams are talking to him or re-signing him. These guys are still working out, still putting in work. And it shows that anything can happen at any time. So now you got the Dolphins. They got Jalen Waddle. They got Tyreek Hill. They got Tua. Tua is probably the weakest link, though. I wish they had like a field general and air it out. Patrick Mahomes. I wish they had Patrick Mahomes. But I think if Tua, he does have an arm. He has shown it before. I think it will help open up, like I said, it'll open up the playbook. All these guys are speed demons. And it could really simulate how college teams, like this could be like a West Coast offense in a way. You got all of the guys to run a track team. You might as well make the football a baton. It's that simple. If you can outrun them, why not? Make your team the best conditioned team. Use your speed demons and wear the shit out of defenses. Just make them chase your guys. That's all the Dolphins really have to do. 5-yard drag route. Chase me, motherfucker. 10-yard crosser route. Chase me, motherfucker. A 2-yard screen. Chase me, motherfucker. So, I think that will make it interesting for the Dolphins playbook, but also the Chiefs now have an opening at receiver. They did sign Juju Smith-Schuster. Later on, we'll talk about the MVS signing, but I think that will be interesting to figure out what happens going into this season. No Tyreek, no championship. I guess that's where we'll really figure out who had the upper hand in that group, the quarterback or the receiver. Next, we got the Patriots. They're re-signing Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Butler, the guy who saved Tom Brady's ass in 2015. He got a good deal with the Patriots after that interception, and then now we're talking about a guy who's undrafted free agent from a D2 Southern Alabama school. Makes the biggest play of his life, signs a great contract, underperforms that contract, goes to Tennessee, plays great, puts in the work, gets his name back, signs another contract with Arizona, plays great, goes to Patriots. I don't think he's gonna go crazy, but I think for a team that is young, that's rebuilt the dynasty, I think with them losing J.C. Jackson to the Chargers, he will fill in tremendously, give that vet experience now. He's come back. He's been there before. He knows the business, the Patriot business, not just the NFL, the Patriot business. And I think he can bring in that knowledge for other young defensive backs so that they can perform all well together. Next, we got Bobby Wagner. He is talking to the Rams. I thought this was very interesting. He hasn't signed with anybody yet, but he's in talks with the Rams. I kind of expected him to go to a division rival just because of how the Seahawks did him dirty. If he ends up re-signing to a rival, he gets to play him twice a year. Brett Favre, he had a problem with how the Packers released him after he retired and tried to come back. And so his first thing was, I want to play, after he got done with his stint in the Jets, he said, I want to play a team that plays Green Bay twice a year. And, I realized at a young age that's how football is. If they disrespect you, so you go beat their ass twice a year. I think that's what Bobby Wagner is looking to do. I think he's got a vengeance for the Seahawks. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's got love for the Seahawks. I think he has love for the fans, but the business and the organization, they backdoored his ass. So I think they're gonna fuck around and find out the hard way. Bobby Wagner is gonna most likely re-sign with a division opponent so he can hit him twice a year. That would be cool. I think the Rams have already a solid linebacker core, but that would just make them stronger, and I just hope that they can afford it, because I believe the Seahawks cut them straight off money issues. But if not, then shit, I couldn't tell you why they cut him. The next topic we got, Deshaun Watson goes to Cleveland. We saw that later last week, but it came out that he was innocent of all his charges. So the grand jury will not be indicting him on any of those charges. And it looks like while he is legally free, the NFL is still conducting their investigation, and we have seen before the NFL will still punish players even if they're legally freed from, or if they are legally relieved from any charges. So, the NFL could find something that they don't like, even though the government thought it was okay, and they may still hit them with a fine or a suspension. Do I think they will? No, I think it's too close to the season now. Maybe they're still working on that, but I believe they're going to let Deshaun Watson free on this one. I don't think anything happened. There's no evidence, but hey, same thing happened with Ezekiel Elliott. He had a case happen, and they hit him with a 4 or 5 game, and it came out that it wasn't even shit. So it really just comes down to what the NFL feels, and they're always picking and choosing. So I believe that with the Ezekiel Elliott case a couple years back, they were more upfront. They were more. They brought it up quicker. Once the case was announced, they got their evidence and they hit him with the suspension. This one is being a little bit more drug out, so I assume that he's going to be coming through the clear this time. Mr. Watson. But you never know. He's already with the Browns. They may hit you with a 6-week, and that's also why Cleveland may have not gotten rid of Baker. Maybe they're going to sit him for a year, and while he's been asked for a trade, they said, no, we're going to wait for this Watson stuff to figure out if he gets suspended for 6 weeks, you're going to play, and if he doesn't get suspended, well, then he's going to play. Or you guys are going to thug it out in practice. You're going to figure it out. But here nor there, I think he'll be innocent, though. Chiefs, back at them. They are desperate to replace Tyreek Hill. They signed MVS, Mercedes Valdez-Scantling, to a 3-year, $30 million contract. Now, MVS is a great speed demon. He can catch a deep ball. He is good with the routes, He's got a good package. Pause. He's got a good route running package. Okay, that's better. But I don't think 3 years and a $30 million, that's $10 million a year. I don't think he's worth that much money. He does have lackluster hands. Sometimes he does drop balls in high intense moments. He has not proven that clutch factor yet, in my opinion. He has had a couple moments where he's been clutch, and we are very happy for that, but I just don't see that I don't think Aaron Rodgers ever was like, all right, we're going to hit him here. That's going to be the game winner. He was never that guy. I think it's good that he's getting his money. I think it's good that he's taking advantage of this moment, but this is simply the Chiefs trying to replace their speedy guy. And soon as Patrick Mahomes finds out that MVS can't catch in coverage as well as Tyreek Hill, they're going to regret that. But hey, they signed Tyreek Hill to a lucrative contract, so this is going to be a little bit less, and less money, less expectation. Maybe that's where they're coming from. We don't want to put all the money in our receivers' hands this year. Something just to think about. We got a couple more topics here, but we're just gonna go through them. Kyler Murray drama. I'm trying to figure out, does it still exist? Kyler Murray, about a month ago, deleted the Cardinals from all his social media, damn near deleted his whole fucking Twitter, and was just kind of going on a huge hissy fit after he got beat the fuck out of in the wild card game. That game, like, damn, man, you can't talk that shit and be that man all throughout the fucking regular season, and then come wild card weekend, you shit the bed. I understand that it's the NFL, but my guy, you played him 2 weeks the whole season. Like, you played him twice that whole year on top of the wild card game. So this should have been third time's the charm. You had don't know if they had DeAndre Hopkins, but it's unexcusable. It's unexcusable. Your team was way too loaded at the beginning of the season. You put way too much hype in yourself. It was weak. Now he's on Twitter, he's back on there. He literally reposted all the same pictures, all this and all that, like nothing ever happened. I'm purely convinced that it's a social media team running his stuff now, and that he doesn't even do it. Do the Cardinals even have conversation with him anymore? Does he go to practice? That is on our to-do list, because the Cardinals will be in a very bad position if they have to trade Kyler Murray, because they kind of have built their whole breed. They brought their head coach in to literally bring his playbook into the NFL. They let him run the playbook how he needs so that he can perform, because I just don't think he's the best passer in the league. I think his best trait is running, is sensing pressure, sensing a pocket collapsing, sensing a hole that he can escape in and gaining yards. I think the same mindset that a base runner has when he's stealing a base, I think Kyler Murray has as a quarterback. And that it makes sense because he's a baseball player as well. I think that goes into play with it. I think throwing the ball is like his second hobby compared to running the ball. And whenever the Rams noticed that and stacked the box, it frustrated him, and he couldn't play comfortably. And that's just one of those things. You get punched in the mouth. That's what I don't talk about. When he gets punched in the mouth, how does he perform? He got punched in the mouth and he deleted all his pictures off Instagram. That's just how I gotta think. That's what I gotta say on it. Anyways. On to next things. The Bears suck. They signed Trevor Siemian to a backup deal, I'm assuming. They got Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields. Get it right or get out. They got Justin Fields. I'm assuming that they're going to just bring in Trevor Siemian as a backup, a reliable backup. And maybe they don't trust Justin Fields all the way. I don't know. I mean, as a Bears fan, I wouldn't, just because he only played half the year. He played well, but he only played half the year. Well, I would like to see him play 17 games, or 16 because of the bye. My point is, I think they're going to stick with Justin Fields. I just think he would have to prove himself worthy so that they get rid of the idea that Trevor Siemian can be a starter. The same thing happened, a couple years back with Mitch Trubisky and Mike Glennon. They overpaid Mike Glennon to sit on the bench, and Mitch Trubisky, and I believe there's another guy, maybe it's Nick Foles, but they paid Mike Glennon to sit on the bench, and I believe he didn't even play. Maybe he played 1 or 2 games, but my point is, he didn't last long because he's not even there anymore. Mitch Trubisky isn't either, but in 2018, when he took him to the playoffs, Mike Glennon was on the bench. I digress. My point is, Justin Fields, if he performs well, Trevor Siemian could be out of a job in a couple of years. If he sits as a backup and doesn't get any playing time because Justin Fields proves he's the man, he's not going to get hurt or any of that, he's gonna find another team. Trevor Siemian to Broncos to Saints to Bears. So he's kind of a journeyman now. Next, we got James Washington going from Pittsburgh to Dallas. I saw a quote that said he was he left a little bit on the field last year, and so he's coming out with a vengeance. He's working hard. He's hoping that the change of jersey can get him a better performance. I think this is a bad move, not because of the quarterbacks, but because in Pittsburgh you're looking at a first or a second string wideout position, while in Dallas you're looking at a third or a fourth, because they just signed Allen Robinson, that big contract. They got rid of Amari Cooper just for CeeDee Lamb to step up. So you're looking at really being the slot guy. If you're okay with that, that's cool, but you could have done that in Pittsburgh and also got more reps at the wideout position. Made more, if you felt like you left some reps on the field last year, go back to your old team and get them back and prove to your old team that you were meant to be there, you know. But yeah, it's all right, you know. Maybe he likes the warm weather. I just think it was a bad move with how deep the Dallas receiving core is versus the Steelers. They just got rid of Juju as well. I just don't see it as a smart move. The next story on our list, we got 3 more here. The Giants have publicly said they are not shopping Saquon. They selected him 2 overall, and he has made it through, I believe, 1.5 seasons since. If he does not play this year, at least half the games, I believe they will change their mind simply on they were the example for the league on why not to overhype a running back. The Cowboys overpay them, and the Giants overhype them in the draft. Whenever Saquon got drafted, I thought he was going to be a 5 pick or a 4 pick. I thought he was going to go to Jacksonville, but that didn't happen. Jalen Ramsey, I believe, ended up doing that. Maybe that was the year before. But my point is, I thought Saquon definitely wasn't even going to be in New York, let alone be the number 2 overall pick. He had a great first year. He's a great running back. I think he's the best running back in the NFC East when he's healthy. But that's the problem. These running backs are so versatile, so great, so healthy, or so versatile, so great that they can't stay healthy. They overdo it. Like, it reminds me of Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose worked so hard playing for the Bulls that he tore the tendons out of his legs. Like, imagine that. Derrick Rose played so explosively that he tore the ligaments in his legs. It was simply that. In my opinion, whenever I was a kid watching the Bulls in the playoffs, Derrick Rose going on his spree. That's all me and my pops would talk about. He's a very explosive player. He plays 100% all the time, and that's what got him hurt. Playing 100% all the time. That is the same way with these running backs. They play at 100% all the time, and while that's awesome, it's gonna cost you. You gotta learn how to take care of your body as well, just as well as you take care of your team on the field. Because if you don't take care of your body, then you're not gonna do anything on the field. Same thing goes with Christian McCaffrey. The Panthers overbought him. I think he's a great player, but they didn't need him, obviously, because he's hurt all the time. those guys are also showing that these running backs are coming more and more by the draft class. So you're going to find more Saquon Barkleys and more Christian McCaffreys next year than you did the year before. And that's also going to cost him, because now his value is dropping because you can get these guys in the late first, in the early seconds. So what's the point of having a broken, hurt second overall pick that was once something when you could just draft him 30 picks later? See, it doesn't make sense now, does it? The investment is lost. Inflation in the NFL. Literal inflation in the NFL, man. Think about that. Detroit, next on our topic, is going to be our Hard Knocks star for the year. This is a great show for teams that don't get a lot of tick because they just suck. It gives us the inside look on an NFL team and what it really takes to build a winner. Just last year, the Rams were on this show, so never fear. Super Bowl is near, maybe. This could be cool, just because my dad's a Lions fan, so I'll have to tune in, see what the interior looks like. But it could also kind of give a glimpse maybe to the fans on what they think is going on with the Lions, and why they cannot find a winning culture yet. Hey, but right now I think they got something cooking. I genuinely think the Lions can be something scary within the next 5 years. I think they got the right mindset, and they got to just put that mindset to the gridiron, and that gridiron to the playing field. It's all it takes. But it starts with the mindset, and for too long they've had this losing mindset. They understand the Packers and the Bears and the Vikings are better, and they just quit. I think the Lions, though, in all honesty, they had a couple good years in the early 2010s, and they just got smudged by referees in that Dallas wildcard game. Shame. But I think the winning mindset is there. They got to learn how to play hard, even when it's not easy to play hard. And that's easy for a Packer fan to say, trust me, but I've been there. I've seen back-to-back seasons where we didn't go to the playoffs. I've seen seasons where we won 4 games. So it does get better. But I think just Hard Knocks in general is a cool show, and I think that will also just give them money. They're getting paid to do this. They're getting paid by the NFL and by, I believe it's HBO that supports Hard Knocks, but to do this, so that'll give them that'll boost revenue, and that'll help them in just the business aspect. So even though they've not made any league player moves or staff moves, they're making some kind of moves, I guess, media moves. Also, it looks like they're getting the 2024 draft location. So, upcoming in a city near you, the Detroit Lions will be having home field advantage for the draft. It's pretty cool. I think Motor City deserves that. But maybe that'll help. Honesty, they need something. That's for sure. But lastly, we got the Niners. The Niners topped it off the end of the week, coming out and talking about they're not going to cut Jimmy Garoppolo. They are looking to trade him. Jimmy G wants a trade. They want to trade him. So they're looking to trade him. But if no trade comes up, they're not going to trade him, obviously. That could lead to them having to cut him. Now, that would lead into some cap issues. Dead money is going to be in play. Can they afford to cut him versus keep him on the team? Is it even statistically smart to do that? Do you trust Trey Lance? All those questions. The they're gonna obviously run with Trey Lance, whether they like it or not, it looks like, and whether a team pulls for Jimmy Garoppolo or not, I think it's kind of everybody's kind of watching and waiting to see what they're gonna do. A lot of teams have been lowballing their quarterbacks. They've been, just cutting them. So I believe there's a lot of teams out there who are in talks or they are watching very closely to see if Jimmy Garoppolo gets cut, because he is a valuable player. Don't get me wrong. He's just not San Francisco's valuable player. So maybe he gets signed to a new team. Houston is in need of a quarterback. Atlanta they could always roll a Jimmy Garoppolo. There are plenty of teams that need quarterbacks and also have quarterbacks. So, it's always something to think of. Jared Goff is not the guy in Detroit as we've seen. So maybe Detroit pulls something where they go get a quarterback. But I also believe the draft is still yet to come at the end of the month here. In April coming up, we got the draft, and so I believe quarterbacks are going to be picked off those boards. Once the draft is over, teams are really going to reevaluate what they have and what they don't have, and then end of off-season trades will start, and he'll be on a new team. I bet that him and Baker will be on a new team before the season starts. I just don't see them both sitting on the same teams that they're on without playing. There's too many good teams out here without good quarterbacks that need guys like them to play versus the guys they have now. But, hey, you never know in the NFL. It's a very weird league. We've already seen how weird it's gotten, and it could get weirder as we speak. That's about it, though. That's the week for this week. I try to do this every week. Just go and look up, the news, what's going on. So don't think I'm, pulling this shit out of my ass. It's straight from NFL Network. We're excited and everything. Go ahead and go ahead and share this. Go ahead and subscribe. I need a following, motherfuckers. And that's about it. I hope this gave you some information on what to do with your bets, what to do with your predictions yourself, and I'll be back next week with some more information. Other than that, that's about it. I'll see y'all next week.